bear with the genre. You know I am.
Oh, we were just talking about you before coming down. Those friends of yours rented out the entire 3rd floor again. They just paid me to go find you, but looks like I made some easy silver. Head on upstairs. What do you mean by who's up there? Same friends you've always got around. That odd couple, the stocky man and the tall lass. A cloud's come over that pair of honeymooners this time, it seems. Could there be trouble in paradise?
That was fast. You were already on your way. Oh, every day this inn finds new ways to separate us from our silver.
You! What in Elian's waxed ankles happened out there? Now that you've made this mess, I hope you're ready to dig us out of it.
Now, calm down, everyone. How can you say the fault lies solely upon their shoulders? Were we not the ones who set that burden there? Of course, adding Jordine into the mix was unexpected.
Look here, sure we sent you out on that mission alone, but Jordine, really? Did the mountain air freeze your brain cells? Not only that, the Yenix! You just let him drink it down like a pint of mead, did you? What's that about? You gave him a solid beating in Calpheon. Why in the world did you let him traipse all over you this time?
Luffy, how many times do I have to tell you? The flame that Jordine took wasn't the Yenix.
Yenix, Phoenix, whatever the name was, it isn't important.
Of course it's important. The fact that it wasn't the Yenix is crucial. If it was the real Yenix, Jordine would have been burnt alive. Though, why did the people of Everfrost mistake it as such? Why was there an imposter flame in place of the Yenix? Not to mention, in the records you discovered, it mentions that the Yenix never made it back to Everfrost.
Well, that's an even bigger problem. What does that make the purpley flame, then? Double-crossing Jordine's now got his hands on some unknown power.
That's right, Luffy. We've no more time to waste. I'm going to recap our exploits into Sycrakea and Everfrost. Atoraxxion, the great stronghold designed to fend off the Black Spirits, was built by Rock's Maha Dehkia and his 4 disciples, the Dehkimas. In Sycrakea, we revealed the true nature of the Heart of Atamagia. The heart is capable of commanding the 100,000 Ator, as well as relaying thoughts and emotions between the 4 Dehkimas.
If destroyed, Atoraxxion will be assumed to have fallen, and the 100,000 Ator will be ordered to mercilessly slaughter everything in sight. A truly fearsome device.
And you just let it fall into Elezra's hands, did you? She pulled your strings throughout Vuhuma.
That's why we changed our course to Everfrost. Do you really feel no shame in being so judgmental? Weren't you just lazing about while Yaz and the rest of us were trying to save the world? All you have is your good-for-nothing mouth.
So again, what are you going to do about it?
Right, Elezra. We couldn't afford to be playthings of that witch any longer, so we went after her ultimate goal, the Yenix. So we sent our hero to seal it tight in Everfrost, but instead we found something unexpected where the Yenix should have been.
The Yenix? Labreska's death confirms the flame isn't within the bounds of Everfrost as well, because if the flame burnt Kozarka of Orzeka and was then returned, Labreska wouldn't have perished. The people that left with Silverfront were called the Knights of Dawn, right?
Seems like we don't have any options left but to follow the witch into Yolunakea. We need to stop her from activating the Heart of Atamagia.
Yes, I think that much was already quite apparent. Thank you, Eden. The heart is activated by blood shed in fierce competition or sacrifice, judging from those messages. Save me, get me out. I'm waiting. We can be fairly certain that Elezra plans to use the architects as sacrificial offerings.
But we couldn't just let her keep yanking us around like ragdolls, so Yaz did a little preliminary investigation of Yolunakea while you were gone. The object we found in Sycrakea, Yolun's eye, was crafted out of Lightstones. They seem to have all come from Yolunakea. It's practically overflowing with them. So, Yaz requested Dalashane to investigate the matter further. You know, she's the lass that recently got famous for her paper on Lightstones.
Would you mind striking out for the Forest of Seclusion first? We'll follow shortly after we've finished organizing these documents we received from the Society.
Friend I told you about. What was he thinking joining the rebels?
You know I am.
Why are you wandering around like that? If you're looking for someone, ask me. I know this place like the back of my hands.
To bear with the Jean Merchant Guild's tyranny? That's not possible for Serenity.
Whoa! Look at that giant! He's too big!
Don't look down on Otter.
Just astounding! If people thought I was famous now, just wait! You're asking where Yaz went and what I'm doing? I was dating the Sycrakea and Lightstone that Yaz brought by borrowing the power of the Spirit's Nest. How? That's a secret. Anywho, what Yaz brought wasn't just any old Lightstone. It doesn't contain any of the known elements: earth, fire, wind, flora, or heart. Theoretically speaking, there can be no such thing as a Lightstone without an element. If there isn't a medium to hold the energy, then it spirals out of control and goes boom! Oh, but it actually exists! And the more fascinating fact is, it's an 8,000-year-old ancient relic! Just who was this genius Yolu? Can you go relay to Yaz what I told you? She said she'll wait for you at the ancient stone chamber.
Really? That thing was actually super valuable? Could it be? Could Yolu have rivaled my genius? Let's not get hung up on that, assistant. It's been a while. I've heard all about your latest biggest screw-up. But no long faces now. I, the great Yaz, have already got it all figured out. Oh, I've also discovered that Yolu's Lightstones were for another biome outside of the 4 biomes of Atoraxxion. But that place seems to be somehow connected to your black spirit. There were mentions of manifest the dark invaders, seal, torture, things of that nature. I was thinking maybe this other biome is the prison of Atoraxxion. I'm fairly sure this is where Lesra had the architects imprisoned. So this time, let's find the prison without Lesra knowing. Then we can sneak the architects out. She won't even have a clue what happened.
Confirming Overseer of Sycrakea permissions. Access to Yolunakea granted.
Yolunakea, the 3rd stronghold of Atoraxxion. The dark invaders shall never evade the eyes of the day. was wondering what kind of records we'd find here. And now that my assistant is here, we can finally find out. Will it be systematic like Vaha's stronghold, or neglected like Sika's stronghold? Assistant, quickly! Read the whole memory shard here. We'll need your black spirit's power.
I thought you'd come straight after me in Yolunakea. But in Everfrost, you caused quite the ruckus. You can't escape me. You already know that, don't you? Don't forget, wherever you may go, I'll always be there.
Ah, she startled me! But, was it just me, or did she sound... upset? What? Scared? No, the Great Yaz fears nothing! I doubt the white-haired witch caught on to our current plan either. Wait a moment. Yolu's eye. Watch out! This red light! It's just like that time in Vormalkia!
Yolunakea, the day of Atoraxxion. Architect, Yolu. Overseer, unknown. Anomaly, Dark Invader energy signature detected. Unable to gauge variants of Dark Invader wavelengths, decreasing combat readiness to level 1. Rune Magia self-defense measures, active. Transitioning to idle state. Idle state, active. Should to idle state. Idle state, active.
Oh, it's not stealing your companion's powers like in Vormalkia. I'm fairly sure this stronghold is broken. Check this out. There's tons of lightstones like these in this place. Look at them! Leagues bigger than the Orzega lightstones in Odilita. Silly Dalashane. If she wrote her paper on this, she'd be set for life. Too bad she was too scared to come in. In all honesty, I panicked when I first thought they were Orzegan lightstones too. Who wouldn't be terrified of light-devouring lightstones? But assistant, you can't go putting your paws all over it. There's no telling what kind of energy lies dormant inside. Be careful. Where do you think she found them all? I wanted to hunt down the answer, but I needed my trusty assistant by my side. Oh, I have something else to show you. Definitive proof that this stronghold is broken. Vaha and Sika. They both had different ways of operating their stronghold, but both reacted to your Dark Invader, didn't they? But this one, it must be broken because... But this one, it must be broken because it's not reacting at all. Places like these are the worst. You know what I mean? It's hard to predict what'll happen here. Is everything as it seems, or is this a trap that Yolu set on purpose? What do you mean it doesn't matter? Where's your adventurous energy? Let's head over there. That'll get your blood flowing again.
Dopalina's connection available. No errors detected on saved data.
This right here. There's ancient text written here. See? Stuff about Dark Invaders, manifestation, seals, torture. Just as I told you. But what are the 4 input devices connected to the archive? They definitely weren't here when I was investigating it earlier. Ah, your arrival probably triggered the Stronghold's activation assistant. This archive seems to be powered by Lightstone energy. Assistant, do you see any hints to unraveling this thread, huh? Look! A different color light came on!
Absolute law of processing imperfect lightstones. Destroyed elements proportionate to required lightstones. Dopalina's connection available. No errors detected on saved data. Dopalina's connection available.
Did we really crack that encryption? This is... it? Compared to the other strongholds, this is a cakewalk. Too easy, in my opinion. Assistant! Look around, quickly! This also could be a trap. Still think it's far too quiet, but while we have a moment, let's take a look. Swear to not act in secrecy due to envy of others?
Saving the world from the Dark Invader's arrival in 49 years. That is our mission. Master said our mission doesn't end there. Our ultimate goal is to find the impact site and completely eradicate them. Master said it will be Orze and I that will be at the center of it all.
So, stop the Dark Invaders, find the impact site, and completely eradicate them. What's this now? Here's a message left by Master Dehkia for Orze and Yolu.
My proud Dehkia, Yolu and Orze. The day you embark on your long and arduous journey approaches. A journey that will lead you to an unusual land where mysterious powers flow. Yolunakea, the land of endless days. And Orzekia, the land of longest nights. There, a material that will illuminate the epicenter of darkness, where chaos lies. It is called the Lightstone, a material unlike any other in this world. Lightstones are very volatile. Depending on how they are utilized, they could either save this world or destroy it. Therefore, I am sending the two of you, alone and unaided. Return safely, and the future coordinates will be waiting for you within your paradise.
Future coordinates? Is he talking about the Black Spirit's impact site? Oh, it goes on! Dehkia is asking something of them. Let's finish reading!
Yolu and Orze, your hearts are still unburdened, yet bear strength beyond measure. I doubt this shall come to pass, but I still must give you this warning. Believing that the world runs according to the will of the gods is to deny ourselves mastership over our own lives. Remember this well, for there are no gods to save this world. If any being is referred to as such in the unknown lands, be wary. For you to believe in them, put all your faith in them, it would be tantamount to betrayal. Faith in gods signifies weakness in your heart. When your heart is weak, think of this place and your kindred disciples here.
This is similar to what Dehkia said to Seeker, but against the Master's expectations, Orze began to worship the Goddess of Darkness.
It's been a month since our return to Atoraxxion, but Orze rarely makes an appearance at Protokea. Did she forget her promise to our master, or break it? I've spent a whole season researching Lightstones alongside Dehkia. It took countless failures, explosive reactions, but we finally managed to create imperfect Lightstones that could hold elemental powers within them. Though we've got them into a stable state, that's the extent of our ability. I can only dream of the day when we can draw out their full potential.
Yolu is a bit like Vaha, isn't she? She was so hardworking. What's this? Oh! This next part looks familiar.
There wasn't any further progress made that season, or the next. But after that, we were able to figure out how to imbue the elements into those imperfect lightstones. Imbuing the power of fire required the most stones, but was the easiest, while imbuing the power of flora required the least stones, but was the hardest. This breakthrough meant they could now be used immediately, but the stored energy was quickly depleted. At that time, however, Master's mantra was quantity over quality, as the stones will be used on the day of our assault. Then, the world will follow the lead of Atoraxxion. He said the power held within these stones was already far too much for those in the outside world, so they would suffice as they are.
Then, what was he planning to do with all the lightstones he had before discovering they could be imbued with elements?
Master said that there is no such thing as a material without a purpose. The lightstones that are not imbued with elemental powers will be used to manifest the Dark Invaders, then seal them. However, there's no way I want to stop there. I will imprison them, torture them, then take control over them. Furthermore, I will turn that epicenter of hell into my verdant oasis. My perfect paradise. Like Yolunakea.
Huh. Yolu. A scarier architect than I initially thought. Ah! Looks like your buddy needs to be careful. Huh? Look over there! A light suddenly came on. What more did Elezra leave behind?
Dopalina's connection available.
Let me out. I want to live. We're all waiting for the day when we can see the sun again. Atoraxxion lost the source of its power. No one can get in or out but my pupil. It's still running thanks to the power of the Lightstones. Please, help!
This is definitely being said to us. Huh. What does she mean by pupil? It's probably a name for one of the areas here.
Anomaly detected. Yolu's nail. Alert. Energy infusion complete. Increasing to maximum combat readiness.
Ah, the Stronghold is booting up! Now it's the real thing! Get your head straight, Assistant! There are loads of live ancient weapons over there. Huh? How do I know? That's because that's as far as I got in my investigation. In other strongholds, they only reacted to black spirits and didn't even look at me. Here, maybe it's because they also use Lightstones as their power source, so they started attacking me even without the presence of black spirits.
Anomaly detected. Yolu's nail. Alert.
Assistant, you seem slower than before. Come here, it's another thread. But was it not completed, or is it broken? Well, it's not normal. Oh, look at this record. Assistant, you seem slower than before. Come.
Making threads was truly a headache. I'd rather be spending that time furthering my Lightstone research. I had only thought of the threads as useful in the eventuality that Atoraxxion falls. However, after seeing Vaha's biome, my opinion changed. Even when we were united in Atoraxxion, Vaha still wasn't much to look at. Though, after seeing his stronghold modeled after Valmalkia, he seemed radiant.
Wasn't much to look at first, but seemed more attractive later. Is this where it all starts to crumble? Well, at first, I didn't think all that highly of you, Assistant. But now, you're all right.
Vaha's stronghold was like the sun itself. The very sun that brought the brilliant day to Yolunakea. In comparison, Sika's constructions were the fumbling darkness of night. It was clear as day that Sika felt inferior to Vaha, being the best, getting Master's recognition. Are those all that important? I found Sycrakea especially pitiful as he lost his light after coming back from Sycrakea. So, I gave him a Lightstone from Yolunakea as a gift. Sycrakea, poor creature. You cannot lose your light. You must all make it through to the end.
Sycrakea then used that gift to create Yolun's eye as a sign of his growing fondness for her. But despite the depth of Sycrakea's emotion, Yolu actually didn't really think that much of him. The architects at Atoraxxion seem to have been especially sensitive. I mean, as war orphans gathered up and brought to an isolated place like this, how big of an influence would they have been to each other's lives? Dehkia, the reason for establishing Atoraxxion, was good, but he was being way too harsh on these still-growing youth.
I was scolded by Master the day after I gave Sycrakea the Lightstone. He called my careless behavior beguilement.
My dear Yolu, did I not first warn you of this? We can't know the impact that bringing an unknown object into this small world will have. This stone, in the worst case scenario, absorbs all the light around it. But we have yet to identify what that light is. It could be the light that shines through this world, or it could be the light that emanates from the soul. Seeker's duty is to fend off the Dark Invaders. He should be focusing on weapons research and production. Yet, his stronghold has ground to a halt after receiving your little gift. That wasn't kindness, it was foolishness.
Never mind what I said about Dehkia being too harsh. He was right in cautioning them about the dangers of Orzekan Lightstones. An Orzekan Lightstone is crafted by adding the power of the Kuteron to a Lightstone, giving it the ability to absorb all light and rob living creatures of their will. Thinking about the history of Orzeka always sends a chill down my spine. There doesn't seem to be any more records. Shall we go over to the next area? Oh, there's a bunch of weird devices. What's that? Is something coming down from above? Or is that where you go up? There's going to be a Soul Magia here somewhere. Ah, there it is! Now, I don't have to tell you what to do, right? I will go investigate way over there. Assistant, you can take care of this place.
Attempt to access saved data detected. Next command, undetected.
Master told me to stop my research on Lightstones for now and start focusing on weapon development. A weapon needs power, first and foremost. And power comes from one's physique. So I started by creating a power source able to move massive bodies. By applying the Lightstone's properties, the weapon was not only functional, but saw a significant increase in power. Though, a clear flaw was brought to light. It could operate in immense bursts of power, but its speed and stamina were terrible. The energy efficiency of Lightstone amplification was the worst. Master gave me the lowest evaluation, and we got into a heated debate, but that heat sparked the inspiration for a massive improvement. The Gladius is mine for the taking. I had to develop a special device capable of moving these enormous things. But making a thread already requires so much of my attention. Though, failing at this might mean I could never research Lightstones again. After a moment's consideration, I thought it best to go find Vaha and pick his brain. Oh, Vaha, I'm not smart like you. nor tenacious like Sika. And I'm not detailed like Orze either. So huge projects like these are so difficult for me. Vaha then mounted his Urukios and casually said,
If it is for our mission, I'll gladly do it.
Anomaly detected. Record access terminated. Dark invader wavelength detected. Checking energy levels of Yolu's sun. 10%. Searching for combat-ready giant weapon. Yolu's spine. Not found. Yolu's pupil. Not found. Yolu's mane. Not found. Analyzing cause of failed search. Error. Energy reverse circulation detected. Destination set to Yolu's spine. Searching for alternative. Yolu's sun Stellagea. Switching to combat mode. Alternative weapon. Preparation complete. Attempt to access saved data detected. Next command undetected. Attempt to access saved data. Attempt to access saved data detected. Next command undetected.
Then Vaha and I spent roughly 10 days in my stronghold building the giant weapon transportation device. Yolu's son, his passion was intense. He went working all day and night for days on end. As I watched, at some point, he began to look like a sculpture, a work of art. His thick eyelashes, his well-defined nose, and his shoulders. How did I come to notice just now how broad his shoulders were? Vaha started to catch my eyes more and more as the days went by.
Attempt to access saved data detected. Next command undetected. Attempt to access saved data detected. Next command
My goodness. Are all your limbs intact?
You are just extraordinary. That thing is a special device designed to move giant weapons. Can't believe you thought to take it for a spin. The dragon eggs on you. They must be made of pure black stone or something. You really went up, and away. Take me along next time, will ya? Luckily, there's a perfectly good path over there. As you know, our tower-sized Choppy is scared of a lot of things.
You aren't really thinking of putting me on a military transporter? You know I've been itching for an excuse to cut off that beard of yours.
You wouldn't! You're not that cruel! I'd be like a lion without a mane!
Would someone so cruel bring pertinent documents from the Society of Equilibrium? These should make it much easier to understand the Stronghold. They're documents regarding the historical geography of Odilita.
Long before the Ahib settled there, Odilita was known as Orzeka, the ancient kingdom. And even before that, it was divided into Orzekia and Yolunakea. Yolunakea was the land of light, with days nearly endless. Orzekia was the land of darkness, as their nights were equally long.
The record states that the day encircled the night. Like a donut. The physical border of modern-day Odilita likely constituted all of Yolunakea.
Did you just describe it as a donut? You must be hungry. But now that you've mentioned donuts, I'm getting hungry as well.
Anyway, the two lands had much in common. Both worshipped the earth god Tunta. In Orzekea, he was depicted as a sturdy bull. In Yolunakea, he was depicted as a slender buck. Then, one day, Orzekea absorbed Yolunakea, and only the name Orzeka remained in the annals of history.
The strange part is that there is no way of knowing how that process happened. Did they intentionally not record it, or was it erased? Only the point speculating of their union lies within Orzeka's records. If the night doesn't swallow the day, death will come to all. The light will only beckon the irrefutable and the unavoidable darkness. All light must be expunged by a darker darkness. The Society interprets this as a premonition of an approaching evil, and so they chose to eliminate the light.
But there is skepticism about whether Yolunakea really was the Land of Light, because there were nearly no signs of living creatures on the surface. There was the peaceful Olun race that fed on tree roots, but what of the predators that would naturally feed on them? Why did everyone leave the warm land of daylight to live in the land of night? The weapons that Yolu made are also strange. They are clear imitations of the golems in Olun's valley.
There are records of golems appearing suddenly before and after the fall of Orzeka, along with the myth that they are the reincarnation of the Olun that Orzeka offered as living sacrifices. Anyways, the architects always left traces of their agony upon their constructs, so the answer should lie in the Stronghold somewhere. Why are there Varmarkian weapons over there? Intriguing, isn't it? But first, let's go meet up with Yaz.
I saw Yaz pass this way. Think we should be good as long as we don't touch those detection devices.
Along with the myth that they are the reincarnation of...
You scared me! Assistant! I found it! This is Yolu's pupil!
Do you remember the message left by Yolu? But my pupil, it's still running thanks to the power of the Lightstones.
It's this! Elripta's door! It leads to the other biome where the architects are imprisoned. And this is a device that can recover the exchange. Do you see the Lightstone inside? Assistant, can you run a bit? Let's take a look at the thread here first. I should know what might be beyond the Elripta's door before we go.
After a season spent at Yolunakea, I could finally understand what Master had been saying, why he said Lightstones were a powerful source of energy. Lightstones were not simply shining stones. In the undergrounds of Yolunakea, they were breathing. What had made life on land instinctively avoid them?
Huh? What could she be talking about? It ends here? What? Who stops a record in the middle?
There is a saying. There are two ways to upset someone. One is to not finish one's sentence.
And what's the other one? Why aren't you saying anything? What's the other one? Luffy? The other one? Luffy? 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 Luffy!
Repeating the same thing over and over again like you are doing now, Martha. Without a moment's pause, like a broken record playing over and over again.
It only took 1,000 stamps of the Lightstone Brewer, working until my legs ached to learn what I could from the earth-dwelling Olun. Assistant! Hop to it!
In the Olun's tongue, the underground ones are a race called the Lekra. They have not even once shown themselves on the surface. But the Olun claim they definitely exist, and the warm breath they exude underground
floats up to the surface and solidifies into Lightstones. Yolunakea, the land itself, was the font of all Lightstones. The Lekra have the power to rule over all living beings at the apex of the ecosystem. Therefore, the Saloons and the Turos ran away to the land of night, except for these small and frail children, grateful just for the sun shining down on them. The Olun said they were too weak to run anywhere else. They drew in detail the underground happenings whispered to them by the tree roots. They were convinced one day their king, Lekra Vuhuma, will awaken once he receives the earth god Tunta's command. Then, they will protect the Olun. For the Olun were the only companions of the Lekra, feared by all.
Then, did this underground race inspire Yolu to make the weapons?
Ha! I knew it! She was a genius like I, the great Yaz.
Oh, there's more?
This world felt somewhat unfamiliar. I remembered Master cautioning me about gods. There were things that even he doesn't know. The Lightstones he was so hopeful about were actually created by the champions of one such god. Is it fine to bring such a substance into our Atoraxxion? Is it fine for me to model my weapons after the god's army that slumbers here?
The Orzekan records say when most of the Olun were wiped out as offerings for sacrifice, the last 9 Olun raised their prayers to the goddess of darkness, as if in answer to their prayer, the golems appeared. This makes me think those weren't prayers, but rather curses. Or maybe the Lekra had finally revealed themselves for the sake of their only companions.
The story says they sprung right out of the ground. But honestly, this isn't what I'm looking for. Assistant!
Exchange damage at 35%.
After Vaha finished constructing the Sun aerial transport device and left, a few restless nights later, I found myself heading to Orze's stronghold. Are you and Vaha still romantically attached? Orze nodded her affirmation. You've been together for quite some time then. To this, Orze said nothing, as the cold moonlight settled in between our silence. Her pale skin appeared like it might shatter at any moment. The scratch that was exposed on her cheek, like a crack in a priceless porcelain vase. How could Master force this life upon a doll like her? She is definitely an object that Vaha would covet, but I'm what he needs. That scar on your cheek, Vaha did that to you? Orze did not answer my pointed question. What part of no does he not understand? And why do you put up with it? Orze didn't say anything for a while, then looked up at me.
Vaha must have been mean to Orze and hit her. So her friend Yolu is getting upset with... Huh? Are they not friends? Here, Yolu wrote something bad about Orze.
Again, her lame, because I need him, response. It got me riled up. So I said my piece to Orze. Snap out of it. The goddess you worship is utterly worthless. Perhaps out of surprise at my words, Orze's face turned pale. I left the expressionless Orze, taking her dagger with me as I departed her stronghold. The words inscribed on the dagger seemed to hover in the moonlight. My love, Vaha, with the goddess of darkness's permission, our paradise will be complete. Ugh, how silly. The real victim in this relationship is Vaha, beguiled by Orze's false pretense.
Huh? Let me get this straight. Vaha and Orze are romantic partners, but the relationship is kind of rocky. And Yolu is swooning over Vaha?
The hottest flames burn the fastest. Reminds me of my youth. People were swooning over me, longing to stroke this lion's mane just once.
Who wants to run their hands to that wiry bush-like beard of yours? Why did she only leave records of useless information like this?
What's wrong with my softer-than-Flonder goose feather beard? The only thing coarse and bristly here is that dried-up sponge you call a brain. See here, you can practically see the damage your loofah brain has caused to my sensitive skin. Here! Wait, where's this light coming from? What is this?
Exchange damage at 35%. Damage detected on final memory shard.
You sure it opens up properly? Assistant, go give it a good whack!
Exchange damage at 35%. Ripta's door operating normally. Protokea connection available.
Is this another stronghold of Atoraxxion?
The center of Amalkia, Sycrakea, Yolunakea, and Orzekea.
The stronghold where it all began. Protokea? Here it is! The resting place of Rux Maha Dehkia, the founder of Atoraxxion.
Everyone over here! It's Vaha's soul Magia!
Synchronizing 95%. Hello? Can you hear me? Oh, to see that little brat's face when she hears this. Did you forget what I said? Wherever you go, I'll always be with you.
Is she talking about me? I finally get that white witch to acknowledge my great... Hold on. Brat?
It seems that insufferable hag Elezra has already been here. Yes, stop making a fuss so we can listen.
I usually avoid constant traveling companions. You know, don't you? How easily I dispose of them. It was a grave error on your part to assume I knew not of this place. You were trapped here, and I, your rescuer, of course. However, after seeing you in Everfrost, I had a change of heart. You still don't know where you went wrong, do you? The flame at the Haven of Slumbering Origin wasn't the Yeenix. It was a fragment of her doom that feeds off the terrible despair of this world. The so-called hero of this world has summoned forth a monster by their own hands. You'll soon find out. Where a mortal that consumed the power of a god is headed. It started with his hometown of Serendia. Then his vengeance was wrought upon Calpheon. But he will not stop there. Though the world may despise him, your fate and his lie intertwined. You are truly a strong person. It would take nothing less to constantly stand against me. Nonetheless, you must not forget that with such great power comes great responsibility. Remember the world you created with your power. The responsibility you bear for Elvia.
Is she gone? She seemed really mad.
I guess your blunder in Everfrost was no regular blunder. It's fine. Seeing that witch boiling over, strangely satisfying, wasn't it?
Oh my. The soul Magia was corrupted by a curse. It looks like a pure Lightstone can weaken it, however.
We will do what we can to restore it. You and Yaz go inspect that coffin-looking thing.
We always said if everyone worked towards a single goal in harmony, heaven on earth could be achieved.
Search complete. No consciousness to play.
We always said if everyone worked...
On the day the Dark Invaders come, I shall leave this abyss to the rolling tides of fate.
Search complete. No consciousness to play.
On the day the Dark...
Awaiting the tomorrow that would never come. I had sacrificed my all for only utter emptiness in the end.
Search complete. No consciousness to play.
Awaiting the
What's this? This should be Orze's spot. Why is Vaha's hexahedron device here in place of Orze's eye?
I can see why Dehkia thought that the Lightstones were important. It's not perfect, but we restored a large portion of what the witch corrupted.
The witch has already come and gone, so I don't expect much of value. How is it over there? Did you find anything?
No, our prediction was right. We were a step too late. I searched the architect's devices, but they all came back with no consciousness to play. How is the witch so quick-witted? Is that why she's a witch? Ah, but something seems off over there on Orze's spot. Orze's eye is missing. Not only that, everywhere else is destroyed, but that spot is clean.
Isn't that Vaha's Kyvelin hexahedron? What could this mean? Could it be a clue?
Oh, why didn't I think of that? Let's look at Vaha's soul magia. There's got to be something in it.
Exactly 49 years after Master left his clone, Dehkia, and withdrew into this Protokea cave, Dark Invaders set upon a massive flame-trailing stone, descended from the sky. The shrine collapsed. The ivory tower was set ablaze, and the ground was split in two. The people, completely unaware, were quickly set upon by the Dark Invaders, and then turned upon each other. When their tears of repentance formed an ocean, they started to seek the Master's Ark. However, due to some small miscalculation, the Dark Invaders arrived 7 days earlier than the regeneration of the Master's form. Even though Sycrakea took the heart that commands the Legion of Ator and sequestered himself deep within his stronghold, I could have held strong for those 7 days. I had no need of the cowardly Sycrakea. All I really need is Yolu and Orze. We got this! Even though it may be Orochios' last, I didn't know at the time what Sycrakea telling the outside world about Atoraxxion would bring.
Ah, I remember! Sycrakea went outside of Atoraxxion and told people of its existence.
However, on the final day, when the Dark Invaders arrived, my army awaited them, I by their side, and no one else. But why did Yolu and Orze not stand by my side? Weren't we all awaiting the final day? None of us wanted this to be where our world would end. My hollow pleas echoed out unanswered. I could not stop them on my own. 7 days. Not even. The world turned to ash in 3.
Sure, we didn't expect much from Sycrakea, but was everyone rotten apples? Where were Yolu and Orze? They were both Team Vaha, weren't they?
Oh, that is why I said it's all for naught. Everyone's hearts and bodies being mixed up like a romance salad. A person should have some principles.
Without the army of Ator,
I stood no chance against the Dark Invaders. I wondered if this could get any worse. I couldn't imagine it if so, when I retreated to Atoraxxion, driven back by the Dark Invaders. The black stones powering Protokea were all gone. Not only that, Dehkia, the Master's clone, had been reset, and he was building Atoraxxion from the ground up all over again. Protokea was ransacked. And not by the Dark Invaders. It was the people of the outside world, the very people we were trying to protect.
So, with nowhere else to turn, it looks like the ancients went to the place Sika had mentioned. But this is crazy! To think that this perfect stronghold was broken into by mere people?
Oh, take a look at this next log. It's password encrypted. I'd venture that means it's important. All the more reason to have a look.
Yolu, Orze, and Sika gathered at Protokea, now barren, after realizing the full weight of the situation. Who could have done this? Who permitted entry? That it would be breached by anyone other than the Dark Invaders. Unthinkable. The culprit is among us. It has to be Sika. He was already reprimanded once after returning from the outside world. He offered the black stones to those he met on the outside, and reset Dehkia to conceal his actions. Who activated Protokea? Who reset our master? We were angrily embroiled in these arguments for some time. But there was one truth that I was avoiding. The other architects are unaware of the truth that only I know. The other architects are unaware of the truth that only I know. I may not be familiar with the Kive, but I learned the truth while remodeling the Kyvellan hexahedron. Master, I know it's unlikely, but what if Master's Kive fails to function?
There is no need to worry, Vaha. Such an outcome is impossible. My Kive is like the core of Protokea, the very heart of the Stronghold. In the event that someone tries to activate it through force, everything we worked for would be erased. Rest easy. It is made so that only I may control it.
Only the Master's Kive can have full access to Protokea. This means that only Master Maha Dehkia, who transferred his consciousness to the Kive, has the power to manipulate the device. If his consciousness is indeed held within, how is it possible for Master to manipulate it? It's so nonsensical. I must be dreaming.
Huh? Hold up, that means the culprit who forcibly activated Protokea was none other than Dehkia himself?
Guys, look over there. I think it's trying to show us something.
That soul magia belongs to none other than Maha Dehkia, the founder of Atoraxxion.
Protokea Emergency Defense Systems operation halted by Architect Dehkia's authorization. Dark Invaders wavelength critical point reached. Atoraxxion defense mode activated. Central power down. Transitioning to backup power.
We need backup in Shurlot sector! Why is no one here? Oh, Yolu!
Intrusion in District 49. Protokea Barrier 1 damaged. Protokea Barrier 2 damaged. Protokea final switchgear damaged.
Kyvellan frontline 3 destroyed. Double unit connection error detected. Processing automatic repair operation. Urukios drive system damaged. Processing weapon retrieval operation.
Protokea system Doppelina's access granted. Command input function disabled. Input terminal is required. Verifying unknown terminal input. Re-verifying unknown terminal input. Protokea firewall activated. Processing verification. Atoraxxion emergency request approved. Protokea defensive barrier disabled. Listing all executable commands. Do you wish to access the Blackstone archive? Starting biometric authentication. Fingerprint match complete. Iris match complete. Voice ID complete. Blood analysis complete. Other physiological traits analysis complete. Hive pulse energy analysis complete. Recognition accuracy 99.895% match. Welcome back. Rex Maha Dehkia, Great Master of all mankind. Accessing the Blackstone archive in accordance with your grand plan. Anomaly detected. Initiating program. Second coming. Commencing reconstruction of Rex Maha Dehkia's physical form. Alert. Blackstone missing. Alert. All Blackstones missing. Hive power supply severed. Halting physical form reconstruction. Checking emergency power. Cannot be used. Cannot carry out reconstruction. Hive operation shut down. Hive operation shut down.
Unbelievable! It was Dehkia all along? That doesn't make sense. How can there be two of the same person?
A person that even a machine like the Solmagia can't tell apart from the original. However, these two have clearly lived different lives altogether.
When did you get here? Did you make it here all on your own? There was no real rush. We were getting along swimmingly without you.
Only one theory makes all of this possible. And that's Dehkia being one of the Adana.
There you go again, pulling little secrets from your pockets and flaunting them about. Stop being so cryptic and spit it out. We haven't got all day.
My sources regarding the disappeared Soldier of Fortune and the Adana come straight from the Society of Equilibrium. Records of the Adana are slightly different depending on the region of origin, but they all have something in common. The blood-eyed ones who seek domination can be themselves dominated through the use of Blackstones, and that Adana never age and grow ever wiser are the commonalities. Though they appear to remain eternally youthful, their lives always come to an abrupt end. From death, they are resurrected and begin their second enlightened life anew. However, in their second life, they slowly age until they breathe their last, never to wake again.
Those who dominate the Dark Invaders with the Black Stones, becoming Adana, all die while still youthful, and rise again only to succumb to the passage of time.
Oh, come on! Anyone who's done the slightest amount of excavating knows all about that. Stop dragging on about what we already know and just get to the point. You won't like it when Yaz gets angry.
I don't get what you're going on about, Yaz. Come everyone, gather around. Let me explain this in better detail.
Protokea emergency defense systems open.
There are incidents in this world that are difficult to comprehend. Come, take a look at the appendix of this encyclopedia regarding the Idana. After experiencing their first death, Idana would be resurrected at some point, only to begin living their second life. However, the day after the first death of Shulatz's Idana, her flesh vanished without a trace. Even after 20 cycles of 4 seasons had come to pass, none would ever report of seeing her again. And one day, after 49 years had passed, archaeologists discovered a gravesite dating back 1,000 years. That was the burial site of the Shulatz's Idana, alongside the squalor of life lived in ancient times.
Wait a sec, just hear me out! My brilliant mind has conceived of the most perfect scenario. Let's say one ancient heard Sika's speech at the Ivory Tower, and this ancient, not wishing to die, sought out Atoraxxion on the day the prophecy was fulfilled. Some way, somehow, they end up getting past all the defenses to end up here in Protokea. Right up to the Kive, storing all the black stones of the architect Dehkia. Eventually, they end up packing up a bunch of black stones, along with methods of using them, and leave. Then, they succeed in seizing control of the blood-eyed ones and become Idana.
They lived their first life in unwavering youth, then died. And if their second life began further in the past than when they had lived their first...
It appears the secret guards have stumbled upon another discovery. For something like this to occur, one would need to have forgotten memories of their past life.
Of course! For if he had remembered everything from his first life, Dehkia wouldn't have stood idly by and let himself ruin everything that he had prepared for. It appears the soul Magia controlling the Kive was correct. While the trajectories of their lives were different, for all intents and purposes, they were still one and the same.
Indeed so. Otherwise, all the memory fragments the Soul Magia has shown us previously don't make any sense, unless someone underwent the painstaking job of fabricating it all. Rux Maha Dehkia. It wasn't the Dark Invaders, nor his Dekimas who destroyed his life. Rather, it was himself from his first life.
His second life was dedicated to bringing the fight to the Blood-Eyed Ones. So, his second life had been but a chapter in the narrative arc of his first life.
Atoraxxion would eventually fall, but as it gave birth to the Idanas, could we say the Stronghold actually saved the world?
You know, Eden, you could have butted in on us back home. Didn't you make a big fuss about staying out of the ruins?
The world beyond these walls is unsafe, so I was forced to come here. There were reports of strange phenomena occurring at Glish. A dark veil suddenly covered the village, and some people claimed sightings of the sky turning green, cases of people falling into depression, or even choosing to end their own lives. These reports have been flooding in from all over Serendia.
Huh? Is that what that old Heidel Valley meant when going on about omens of the Elvia realm?
First things first, we've got to get out of here while we can. If the power source was ever to run out, we're sitting ducks here.
Store operating normally. Protokea connection available.
Huh? What are these ancient weapons of Vaha doing here? I mean, I knew Vaha and Yolu were pretty close, but...
Look at this. I think we'll find some clues regarding the presence of Vaha's ancient weapons here.
I ceased my Lightstone research and dove fully into ancient weapon production. But Master gave me the worst evaluation yet. However, Vaha came to my rescue. That was all that mattered. Still, I knew that he needed an immensely powerful weapon of mine. Vaha's words always ring true, and this one came forth as a product of my own imagination. While not perfectly suited for this world, it will definitely play its part. A large and powerful ancient weapon even the Dark Invaders would never expect.
Everyone, take a look at this. It says right here, Sun, Eye of the Sun.
Vaha, as long as you become stronger and become the best, would you like to test out Lekra Vuhuma, my marionette of the sun, that I made for you?
Take joy in trampling the earth underfoot beneath the watchful gaze of the sun. Hey, assistant, over here. Let's insert that fragment you got in here. Another encrypted record. This is the language of Vaha's weapons. I guess we won't be able to unravel this thread without those weapons.
Oh no, even Laffy is calling you assistant. You don't need to answer to him, though we should get a move on.
Everyone, take a look at this.
Lekra Vuhuma, prepare to attack. Eye of the Sun, energy recharge complete. Lekra Vuhuma, prepare to attack. Eye of the Sun, energy recharge complete. Lekra Vuhuma. Hexahedron rotation halted. Insufficient Vaha sun energy.
Vaha acknowledged my Lekra Vuhuma and shared a rather interesting secret with me. Although it wasn't the means of crafting the Kive that archived the Master's consciousness, his research into the Kyvellan hexahedron had soon made it possible for him to create a copy. He had an entirely revolutionary idea. That was to become one with the ancient weapons themselves.
Just imagine it, Yolu. We could integrate ourselves with them completely. This is my deepest ambition that I'm sharing with you alone. One day, I plan on becoming the heart of Arukios. I wish to see with its eyes and fill its chest with my roar.
Yes, I can see it now. You and I becoming one. My beautiful Vaha, you can do it, for I will it so.
Rotation halted. Insufficient Vaha sun energy. Kyvellan hexahedron rotation confirmed. Vaha sun energy to power conversion complete. Kyvellan hexahedron rotation halted.
I can't believe it. turn the Earth flat and flip it around. You're still in control of this thing, right? How do you feel?
This isn't a joke, Assistant. What if a piece of the weapon breaks apart? Would some piece of you break off too?
Anyway, it appears we should now be able to read the previously illegible language of Vaha's weapons to unravel Yolu's thread.
Yolu may not have won over the Master, but she's still a genius in my book. She made a thread that could only be solved by using Vaha's ancient weapon.
Hey, you! Stop working your mouth and work your brain. Focus and start looking over these scribbles.
Vaha and I continued to build secret after secret as the days went by. However, his relationship with Orze hadn't completely ended either. He told me that being with Orze felt like being with a doll. Physically, he may be hers, but his heart was mine alone. And yet, today, Vaha appeared somewhat downtrodden. I wonder what happened overnight. Vaha gathered all the Dehkimas and began to propose 4 new rules.
All Dehkimas must combine their strength when the Dark Invaders are upon us. All Dehkimas must preserve the knowledge they acquire from Atoraxxion and guard its secrets. All Dehkimas must respect each other's biomes and never enter without permission of their respective overseers. All Dehkimas must refrain from developing personal feelings for any other Dehkima.
My heart broke at the utterance of the final rule. And yet, with it, I now knew of his true intentions. It was to separate that parasite Orze from his body. For only I am suited to be Vaha's partner. Only I deserve to stand by his side.
What's wrong? Why are you sighing like that? What? Another useless record? Couldn't agree more.
Record engraved with the symbol of a flower. This all seems a bit, unsettling, don't you think?
It wasn't too difficult to bring Vaha to my biome. All it takes is the mention of weapon development to make him follow me anywhere. I wonder if he knows how much his refusal further stokes my flames. Eventually, I revealed to him the dagger I stole from Orze. My love, Vaha. With the Goddess of Darkness's permission, our paradise will be complete. The words etched onto the dagger made it clear. You can't have Orze. She's already in the embrace of her goddess. Thickets blot out the light. Thorns scar everything. Only damp darkness and death reside within them, and yet, I am different. I can embrace all the rays of the sun. Let us cultivate a new life together within the sun's embrace. Only I can support you, my son, Vaha.
Whoa! Is this what Sika witnessed and caused him to call Vaha scum? And yet, who knew it was Yolu who tempted Vaha all along?
What on earth? They had all these hormones pent up in their puny bodies, and no place to release them. No wonder things got so fired up. I've said it once and I'll say it again. Love is no more useful than chaff in the wind. I bet Vaha made her cry in the end. Seriously now, why can't we find one useful record here?
I think we'll have better luck in the next area. And yet, this biome is clearly sending out a distress call. I'm sure Yolu would have a clue to defeating that witch somewhere. Eden, what are you doing over there?
Martha, come over here and search this area with me. I think it's a path going to somewhere.
Whoa! Is this what Sika witnessed and caused him to call Vaha scum? That's my assistant, all right. You're so strong, too. While you were causing a distraction, I think I found something useful. Luffy! Hey, Luffy! The assistant's back. Oh, right. Forgot to tell you about this. This is a secret telescope made by us, the secret guards.
This is quite useful to search for anything dangerous from afar. Why am I showing it to you now? Well, because I completely forgot about it.
Anyways, take a look at this. It's a tale regarding Yolu's final weapon. Looks pretty useful, no? Here, have a look.
After that night, Vaha came rushing back into my arms. To think that I'd feel such joy, welcomed in as someone's light. Sure, there were days when Vaha didn't come, saying he was off seeing Orze. But Vaha is our leader, and he's only doing his duty in taking care of us. And yet, I can't help but feel a cloudy gloom fill me. Those are the days when I miss Sika. How he gazed so longingly with those sad eyes of his. I guess I am as attractive a woman as Orze. Suddenly, it dawned on me. An idea for my final weapon. I can't believe I failed to see it for so long. A weapon as beautiful, sharp, and resolute as I. A weapon that can shake up the entire world.
What the... The record ends here? I need to know what she wrote next. That's the important part. Raise a monument beneath the giant tree. Anyways, take a look at this. It's a tale regarding Yolu's final weapon.
I remember what I saw in the lands of Yolunakea. It gave off a sweet scent and sang pleasant melodies. The Olun told me it was due to the flowers it consumed. The name of that flower? Amaryllis. Fine horns, a slender waist, and a tiny mouth to hold the flowers. However did it survive with its fragile appearance? And yet, the Olun warned me not to underestimate the creature. For when the long day passes and the short night arrives, it changes form. Docile during the day, yet an attractively powerful being by night. I wanted it. I wanted to grasp it between my own two hands. And yet, I could not hope to catch it. It was that swift. Sometimes, it would shed a small pond of tears it would suddenly fall into, as if it was attempting to take its own life. And yet, when I draw near that pond, only my own reflection stared back at me. The Olun referred to that body of water as Ron's mirror. They called it the incarnation of Tunta, god of the earth himself. But I had no use for gods, so I decided to bestow it a name myself. The scent of the Amaryllis and the mirror of Ron. Yes, that's it. My final weapon shall be called the Amaryllis.
Ah! That creature's appearance seems to belie its speed and strength. But why did Yolu, bright as she was, not appear on the final day?
Let me be. This may be my only opportunity to study this. I have a deep connection with Orzeka. So, I want to know more about the Olun story. In the Crypt of Resting Thoughts, there were only mentions of sacrifices made to Kazaka and nothing more. But to hear that the Olun existed during a period of peace without the constant threat of death, not to mention in a land where the terrifying golem slumbered, with tree roots as their medium, they were able to keep amicable relations with the golems. Isn't that why the golems reacted and awakened when the Olun were wiped out?
He's gone too deep. Let's just leave him and move on. I mean, being as short as he is, he won't be easy to spot.
I have a deep connection with Orzeka, so...
We also discovered that the place Eden found earlier was a shortcut. Inside, there was an exchange in fairly good condition. Of course, it's locked by a thread, so we were looking for clues. Yolu usually left very happy records, but these seem different. The slate's name is Crocodile Tears.
One day, Atoraxxion suddenly collapsed. Not at the hand of the Dark Invaders, but by the very people we sought to protect. That is what caused our saga, in which we were slowly working toward the completion of our mission to come to an abrupt end with an unidentified outsider as their leader. The people rushed in like a swarm of ants and carried off all of Protokea's resources. After only a few hours, silence befell the place once more, and Vaha returned. His entire body covered in blood. He was no longer the son I idolized. He blamed Sika for telling the outsider of the existence of the Stronghold.
Now we know the culprit was actually Dehkia in his first life, but I guess the architects never found out.
Sika, who was rebuked by Vaha, rebuked Orze. She defied the Master's lesson of placing one's faith in gods. However, Vaha defended Orze frantically. He knew that her agenda lay with the Goddess of Darkness, and her promise to sacrifice our army of Ator. Then what of our efforts? And our Masters? Was that all just sacrifice to your goddess as well? All Orze said was that she never wanted the Stronghold to fall. In the end, Sika started to fight back against our leader Vaha. Vaha then chose to defend Orze in order to defend himself. What is this? Then does that mean I need to take Sika's side? I don't want to do that. During this dull debate, Vaha didn't turn to look at me, not even once. I was taken slightly aback, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. I didn't even tear up. Maybe I already knew. I had always had him in my embrace. But that space between my arms was a void to be filled. Orze just kept sobbing, covering her face with both hands. Those hands probably concealed a smile behind them. That revolting.
Wait a minute. The Gatekeeper weapon's blueprint that Eden found had a drawing of a crocodile?
What took you so long? I found a shortcut. Of course, we still need a key to enter the next sector, so we likely will need to take the long way around anyway. Try promenading down that path later. Perhaps some intriguing knowledge may present itself along the way. But more importantly, take a look at this Elezra's mark. If she picked up the architects at Protokea, then there wouldn't be a need to go around.
It might seem like a joke, but she isn't the type to waste her time. Not to mention how persistent she's been, actively. What in the world could be in this stronghold? Why keep the Gatekeeper weapons blueprints so well hidden?
We've already got 2 strongholds under our belt. So, let's see. Sebekaruk?
Yolunakea, where Lekra, the ecosystem's apex, resides, is a place that living creatures instinctively avoid. Thanks to them, the Olun lived in peace. However, there were still natural enemies. The giant crocodile, in the Olun's root language, Sebekaruk. The Olun have to absorb their nutrients from the Lightstones,
So the Sebekaruk would place a Lightstone on their back to lure them to the water.
Could this be a weapon made with Orze in mind? I can't imagine what it would be like to face off against... Ugh. Let's see. It says that on the day of the final battle, she happily ate her breakfast? To think she could keep anything down on that day. She's certainly something.
The day of the final battle. I wonder why my feet led me to Vamalkia. It was completely empty. Of course, he'd be the first one out. When I was turning to leave, an imposing weapon caught my eye. It was Lucretia. The same name the goddess calls Orze by. Vaha had sculpted this idol of Orze, without my knowledge. Since when? Perhaps I could forgive him for this. However, he must pay for wounding my heart. I will not engage. He will have to face them without me. Vaha, may you realize just how desperately you need me.
Oh, Luffy was right. Vaha was stood up, but now that I look at it, Yolu. Oh, she's a greedy one.
This one is mine, that one is mine, you're mine, everyone you love is mine!
On the day of the final battle, where Vaha stood without me, I returned to my stronghold and gathered the Sebekaruks in one place. Tears cascading down my cheeks as I grasped out for anything to hold on to. Ultimately, the victor was Orze, our leader in her clutches.
But still, her crush Vaha is out there dying. What in the world did she do with those crocodile weapons?
I remembered what the Olun said about the Sebekaruk's traits. When they need to cull their numbers, they sacrifice their lives to their leader. The leader, after devouring his congregation, shed tears that, at a glance, give him the appearance of deep despair. But the cannibalistic leader grows even more vicious. So I decided to lock them away where they could tear each other apart. Fight, rip, crush. Today, I shall select their leader.
Assistant, make sure you're extra prepared. We will have to face whatever weapon was strong enough to come out on top of that bloodbath.
Yolu's sweat and tears went into making this arena. You think you can just throw yourself in there? What kind of a place is this? Let me see if I can find anything.
Oh, is that a Stellar control system? Anyhow, it seems they've mass-produced small Sebekaruks and managed them.
Hey, Fuzzball. You better run while you can. Don't you know a bloodthirsty crocodile is on its way?
The records here show that Vaha used Lacerta's power to interfere with the circuits of the small Sebekaruk to create an electrical overload within their leader.
The leader's verification device seems to be malfunctioning. Given the situation, it might even be able to use the smaller weapons to recover its power. We discovered something while observing the Olun stone houses made in commemoration of Yolu's visit to Yolunakea. Vaha chose Orze as the one to prove his innocence, but when she just sat there crying in the silence that followed, he pulled out his sword. Are you mad, man? How could I Did Vaha kill Orze? Is that why Orze's Kive was the only one missing from Protokea? Ah, looks as though Yolu had the same thought. She also wrote, "Are you mad?" Oh, wait, thankfully it seems it wasn't murder. What Vaha's sword pierced was not Orze, but Talibre's door that connects to the outside world.
The argument ended when Vaha dismantled Talibre's door. Not a single word was spoken, and we returned to each of our respective strongholds, overtaken by silence. Within Maha's vein, it felt like time stood still. Not a day went by when I wasn't consumed with the thoughts of less painful ways to end my life. My belly ached in pain, but that pain brought clarity to my thoughts. After a season or two, the food will run out, and I'll starve to death. I could recall those days when I was a starving war orphan, the master handing me a warm bowl of porridge.
They were facing an actual crisis, but somehow they managed to survive, only to be sacrificed to a witch they don't even know.
What Vaha's sword pierced was not Orze, but...
Sebekaruk production ongoing. Power supply status satisfactory. Sebekaruk production ongoing.
Awaiting the tomorrow that would never come. I had sacrificed my all for only utter emptiness in the end. Slowly starving to death was more painful than I thought. Did no one else feel this way? The stronghold merely steeped in its silence. I followed my feet to the vestige of Talibre's door in Protokea. Only if there were some black stones, it could be restored. Wait a minute. Perhaps Lightstones were the answer. If only for a moment. This is it. I think we can escape. We cannot escape. The people didn't just rob Protokea of its black stones. They took everything. The fire, earth, wind, flora, and heart. My Lightstones. They took them all.
Darkened Dawn. Dawn, operational. Energy circuit, operational. Darkened Dawn, operational. Energy circuit, operational. Darkened Dawn, operational. Energy circuit, operational.
It took 3 minutes of thought to make up my mind. I will go to the outside world alone. It's only fair.
Assistant, how could you just abandon your biggest cheerleader? Don't be selfish like Yolu. Let's look at it together.
Outside, a festival was underway, as if to mock our fall. After eating my fill, I started to tune in to the chatter of people around me. They said a certain genius has successfully turned the tables on the Dark Invaders, possessing them instead. Genius? Please! It's just the outsider who stole Master's documents. The few who succeeded at the task were called the Adana. The Adana enlisted the Dark Invaders as partners, using that power to restore the world that they took from them. And they used the Lightstones they stole from me to seal all the remaining Dark Invaders within Histra. While we were trapped, we were just waiting to die. To suddenly find myself at a festival, I felt truly out of place. In the end, all I could do was to return back to Atoraxxion. Sika, vile, incompetent, and origin of all our problems, was right. Atoraxxion will forever be known as the Stronghold of Sinners, and I shall forever remain silent about the land of Adana.
Doesn't that mean she just came full circle? Now, that's fine and all, but everyone, take a look at this. I've happened upon a magnificent discovery. The reason why Alessa remained here to thwart us at every turn. Now, this saw Magia. Give it a good whack. And there. All the tales of what transpired between the reset Dehkia and Yolu.
My dear Yolu, why are you not yet asleep? You must leave for Yolunakea tomorrow.
Dehkia, reset and void of all memories, came looking for me. Even though I knew why, I asked why I had to go.
For the future. I've told you this before. If the Dark Invaders were to attack the Stronghold, we must have the Lightstones in our possession. Return safely, and within your paradise, the future coordinates will be waiting.
I have no need of them! You know nothing, you fragmented consciousness! And the future you planned for us? It failed. It failed.
My delicate Yolu. Why? Are you shedding tears? Slowly explain to me.
You can't understand! I can't explain it! Why? You even prophesized about the Dark Invaders! Why couldn't you foretell our future? Everything is your fault! You left me in charge of a future I couldn't even grasp! And all I did was wander around, trying to fill that void! You said I was the epicenter of the coming future! If I had everything, this wouldn't have happened!
It is our path.
Oh? Yeah? Alright. She's putting all this on their master?
What's important isn't the story, but the coordinates. The Black Spirit Stronghold's coordinates are there in their paradise.
Ah! Why didn't I think of that? The final destination of that witch. Let's get moving. We need to get the coordinates. You just wait and see, witch. We will chase you to the end of the world.
Attempt to access saved data detected. Next command, undetected.
Is this the cradle of the final weapon?
I've already seen this. Twice. You guys have no idea how well my assistant fights.
The final weapon, Amaryllis, is nowhere to be seen.
But what is that? That's got to be the heart of creation from the Tunta myths.
Lesra!
Yes, you shall take responsibility.
Granny Pants. Are you surprised we made it here? Now, where do you think you're going? I'll follow you to the moon and the sky above if I have to.
Of course you're here, Elezra. Huh? Laughing? No, wait. Is it your first time seeing Elezra? Put that parchment away.
What are you talking about? I was just trying to take notes on what that witch is stepping on.
Chattering away like little birds in my presence. I'm a tad disappointed. You weren't like this on our last little adventure. If I knew destiny would keep bringing us together like this, I would have crushed you between my fingers. The world is full of surprises, indeed. By the looks of this stronghold, it wasn't the work of the Dark Invaders. The destruction of Atoraxxion, the bastion of humanity, was wrought by human hands. But the downfall of Atoraxxion ultimately brought salvation to this world. Who does humanity have most to thank for that?
How could we know that? But we know for a fact it is not you.
If only the 4 architects had stuck it out together, and if only Dehkia had reawakened as planned, could Yolu have really defeated their nemesis? Her fate, could it have been to storm the stronghold of the Dark Invaders?
We weren't there. We aren't as ancient as certain witches in the room. You stop your chattering. Where are all the architects? You think we'd let you sacrifice the architects and watch as you activate the heart of Artemisia?
I don't know why you would think that of me. All I need is one person.
What? One? Is your tongue just flapping around behind that smile? You're lying through your teeth.
Little one, I've not spoken a lie since the day I was born. I've only come to find the coordinates, the Dark Invaders that Dehkia left to Yolu. That's right, the Black Spirit Stronghold. That's indeed my target.
What? Why there? Wait, hey! You're not really thinking about using the Stronghold as a base to unleash the army of Ator, and then the 3 days of darkness again?
I honestly didn't think that far. That sounds like an interesting plan. Tell me you're not curious. That voice you have, all day in your head without end. Where is it coming from? How much stronger will it grow? Never mind. I shall take my leave. Thanks to somebody, my timeline's been accelerated. Yolu's last weapon, Amaryllis, has been aimlessly pacing for a long time, unable to fulfill its desires. I'll leave it under your care now. I hope that you can give her masterpiece, this ancient weapon and a lonely soul, all the dearest love she deserves. Although its presence brought chaos to the Stronghold, it was the catalyst that incited the fall from salvation. As you saw from the past records of the Stronghold, you must be wary of being enticed by the Amaryllis. That is, if you want to keep the worthless entourage you dragged along from becoming her puppets. If you survive this valley of desire, perhaps I'll see you again at the coordinates. Farewell.
No! Has she vanished? Again! Ugh, she always has to have the last word. Alrighty, assistant. You got this, right? We've got a lot of information this time.
Last weapon Amaryllis damage restoration complete. Central control device corruption at 11%. Last weapon Dark invaders detected. Beginning Amaryllis evolution. Creation.
No! I can't believe...
Disheartening. That old prune, I don't think she was lying. Laffy found something called the Atoraxxion Repair Manual. Huh. Laffy? Where have you gone now?
Laffy is over there. He seemed very impressed at the sight of the Amaryllis. He said he wanted to investigate further and just took off. That man, so engrossed with relics of the past, he hasn't even noticed how much you've grown.
You were about to say, it feels like just yesterday you were whipping wolves outside the ancient chamber. You're the one stuck in the past.
Quiet, both of you! I'm dying to see these coordinates. Assistant, go on up and get Laffy.
That's strange. It makes no sense. Weapons cannot feel fear of death. Oh, yes, great work. Say, there's something odd that I noticed while watching you fight. Do you remember the final weapon, Amaryllis? Well, it just bolted. You into town on it, smashing it to smithereens. Could you not feel it shaking madly in its final moments? And even at its wit's end, it fled like a bat out of hell. There is no other weapon like it in the world. Weapons shouldn't be capable of fearing death. Look here, they're generally all designed like this. Ah, wait. I feel an unusual pulse here. Oh, see, just now, it's as if it's using all its might to take a final breath. Although it's buried within a labyrinth of ancient characters. I shall get to the bottom of this mystery no matter what it takes. Let's head on down since everyone is waiting. You go on ahead.
pity everyone works so hard. I'll hold off on the scolding. There is something called the Atoraxxion Repair Manual within the Soul Magia.
Not long after we returned to Atoraxxion, we were gathered in front of a dust-laden Protokea. Orze was as silent as the goddess of darkness in her stronghold. Sika muttered to himself incessantly, nodding his head. It sounds like my name, but I lacked the strength to respond. Regardless, Vaha had something to say.
At this rate, we'll starve to death, or we'll eat each other alive. Let us keep our dignity. We get to choose how it ends for us. Let's all get some rest inside the Kive. A long and timeless sleep, as the Master once did. But lest we become like our Master, though he tried his very best. Let us free ourselves from this preordained destiny to some unknown vista far from here. Someone in the future will awaken us. Perhaps that person may even need our help. Of course. It's also my first time creating something like this. Though it may fail, anything is better than this.
He looked into Orze's eyes as he continued to speak, and nobody stood to oppose him. To have the choice to face death without pain, this option was one that intrigued us.
Wait, does this mean the shattered Kives of the architects in Protokea weren't Elezra's doing, but evidence of failure? No, it cannot be!
But Orze's biome was immaculately intact. That means if Orze's Kive was the only one that was successful...
I see. Elezra said she only needed one earlier. It could be that she was referring to Orze.
Didn't it say, no consciousness to play? What could the failure of the Kive imply? Loss of consciousness. But Vaha would have done everything he could to prevent the worst outcome.
Regardless, let's check Yolu's last location before Kivization. We can use the clues that Elezra was after to find her.
Attempt to access saved data detected. Next command, undetected. Attempt to access saved data detected. Next command, undetected. Attempt to access saved data detected. Next command, undetected.
Kivization, without the promise of a future. It was the only viable thing to do. Until the day that someone finds the Stronghold. For the first and last time, I finally found my paradise. The place where the Master left the coordinates that lead to the Stronghold of the Dark Invaders. My mission ended before it could even begin. Shall I have a look at how far my mission would have taken me? Vamalkia, North, Ankar, Wall of Giants, the Lake of Desolation, the Mountain of Crimson Ash, Alya Eli. The coordinates.
I'll take the coordinates to the Black Spirit's epicenter. I was going to share it, but it seems I can be rather fickle. I am curious to know how strong you've become, but I will direct you to a new coordinate that won't disappoint. The final Gladios in Atoraxxion. Something that the 4 architects couldn't even open. You will find the arena within Orzechia, the heart of immortality. Oh, you'd best hurry, or the coordinates will disappear. Do try your best not to wander astray this time. You'll need to be well rested, if you know what I mean.
What? Are you kidding me? She said she doesn't lie! She snatched the coordinates right out from under our noses!
Looks like we're out of options now. The only option is to face her in the final Gladios.
Who would have thought that we'd live to see the day that Elezra was somewhat concerned for our well-being? You sure encounter a lot of strange events in life.
Aiden, now is not the time to muse about... Please don't come with us next time. You're anything but helpful.
Now, stop fighting! Look on the bright side! Instead of saving 4, we now only have 1 person to save. Could it have been Orze? This hunk of machine did spit out Orzekia, the forest which conceived the night. Assistant, the last stronghold has opened. We just gotta handle it face to face. I don't want to get crushed by an army of Ator. I plan on sticking around for a long, long time. I don't want to get crushed by an army of Ator. I plan on sticking around for a long, long time.
I should have never returned to Atoraxxion. I could have left it in the past, started anew, unable to even end my own life. Why would I? Why is this happening? Was it like this for the others? Vaha, Sika, Orze? Have I awakened only to suffer the agony of death? Even today I run. I flee. I don't want to die. I guess I still wish to remain among the living. Attempt to access saved data detected. Next command, undetected.